Jeff here with another 5-minute murder for you guys. We're going to pick a card. We're going to talk about that murderer for 5 minutes. And then, yeah, thank you guys for checking it out on TikTok. We've been posting them there now, and it seems to be getting some good response. So if you're here checking it out on the TikTok, make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe so you know when they all come out. And we'll be dropping them all over the place so that you guys can see it. All right. Today, we got a little Albert Fish. All right, I'm going to start the timer. Try to keep this to 5 minutes. We'll see. All right. So Albert Fish was born on May 19th, 1870. Died on January 16th, 1936. He was an American sadomasochistic serial killer and cannibal. He boasted that he had children in every state, putting the figure at around 100. Although it is not clear whether he was talking about molestation or cannibalization. Less still as to whether it was true or not. He was a suspect in at least 5 killings in his lifetime. Fish confessed to 3 murders that police were able to trace to a known homicide, and confessed to stabbing at least 2 other people. He was put on trial for the kidnap and murder of Grace Budd, and was convicted and executed via the electric chair. So we're going to put, we lost old Albert Fish. He's down on the floor now. This is one of my friends, Jason Stoffer. This is his favorite killer. Actually, there's a piece of artwork right above me here. If you watch the video that I show the room, it's right up there. Great piece of artwork by him. He also has a band called 10-Year-Old Stew, right, that has a reference to Grace Budd. And he often wears a mask, an Albert Fish mask, up on stage. Really great guy, Jason Stoffer. Great artwork. Check him out on the Facebooks. He's got all kinds of stuff there. But Albert Fish, incredible, crazy story. His first torture and murder was in my hometown of Wilmington, Delaware. I grew up there. Also happens to be where our current president lives. Anyway, Wilmington, Delaware, which was also the murder capital called Murder Town, USA for quite some time, is where I grew up. That's my old stomping grounds, but also Albert Fish's stomping grounds before he moved to Brooklyn and was known as the Brooklyn Vampire or the Gray Man. He was a very sadistic guy, right? He had children, and he would have his children play games with him. And during those games, he would intentionally lose. So his children would have to spank him with a nail-studded paddle. Old Albert Fish was also one of the original guys who was doing the whole, before there was, Plenty of Fish and all of that stuff. He was on there sending messages to all kinds of women all over the country about how he'd like to get his bare bottom spanked. And so he would send them all kinds of messages and talk about how he loved bondage. And, he made several references to beating the children and how they needed it. And when he was really talking about how he needed it. Of course, Albert Fish wrote the crazy letter to Grace Budd's family after he swindled them into letting him take her to go and spend an afternoon with him, and he ends up killing her, cooking parts of her, and mentions in the letter how it took him several days to eat her whole body, and that he never molested her. He didn't have sex with her even though he could. Crazy story. I actually have a film for my, not a film, but like you get when you go to the doctor, an x-ray. There we go. One of those x-ray films of Albert Fish that I got from my buddy John Borowski not too long ago, just at a convention. But it goes up there on the film, and you can see it. If I would have thought about it, I would have brought it over here and showed it to you guys. But it shows his pelvis. I believe it was after he died, they took that x-ray, and after he was executed in the electric chair, and he had several needles, I think 20 of them, stuffed up into his rectum, or I guess the in-between between his rectum and his penis, where he would shove those and he would walk around with those in him. Incredible sadist. It is also not true, or at least I understand this to be the case from John, that Albert Fish did not short out the electric chair. He died just like everybody else. When they electrocuted him, he was dead. And thankfully so, because there has never been a worse child molester and sadist and murderer than Albert Fish. It is his story is unbelievable. If you've not heard it, there are so many podcasts out there that do an excellent job of telling the story about Albert Fish. Just a crazy story. If you are a space lizard like I am and watch Time Suck podcast, great podcast done by Dan Cummins, Peanut Butter. So great show. I was literally right before I got on here listening to no, it's not Feel the Heat. I listened to Feel the Heat earlier, but I have my Dan Cummins albums playing. Great comedian. Check him out if you haven't already. And thank you guys for joining us for another 5-Minute Murder. Check us out next week. Every Friday we'll be dropping these, and then we'll throw them up on the TikTok and the Instagram and all that stuff. Check it out. Don't forget, go and pick up Kill Scene. It is still currently on Kickstarter. We got about another 2 weeks left, 13 days to be exact. But go on there, back us. Make sure you get that game. It is a lot of fun. It is the most fucked up game of spades you ever play. So hit us up. See y'all soon.
This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause I feel so empty without me. I said this